Alright, we're 1 kilometer from the BC border. Yoho National Park. Welcome to BC. Yeah, man. Boom! I've officially been in every single province in Canada.
Hey everyone, how's it going? I'm Tim, and welcome back to my Travel Across Canada series, living in my Volkswagen Golf. In today's video, I'll be traveling all throughout the province of British Columbia, the last province on my list. I'll be traveling from the Alberta-BC border all the way to Vancouver. You won't be seeing me at all in this video, but you'll be seeing a ton of cool scenery and a ton of cool things along the way. So sit back and enjoy the ride. Immediately after crossing into BC, I was in Yoho National Park. Although not as popular as Banff and Jasper, it's just as impressive. And the very first stop I made was at the Spiral Tunnels. It's the series of tunnels that were opened in 1909, linking BC to the rest of Canada when it joined the Confederation. These tunnels are really cool, and I got super lucky to witness a train coming through them as I was stopping by. And it creates this really weird effect. As you can see here, the train seems to be going in 3 different directions, but this was actually one very long train going through the tunnel. Super cool. After stopping by for a few minutes, my next stop was over to Emerald Lake. Like I said in the beginning, Yoho National Park is not quite as busy as Banff and Jasper, so there's no huge lineups and there's no massive crowds all over the place. So you really got the sense that you were in a proper national park over here in Yoho, especially around Emerald Lake. What you're seeing right now, it was super calm. There was this nice 5-kilometer or so trail going all around the lake. So this was a really nice walk, nice calm nature walk. Going around the lake here, and just look at the color of the lake. Absolutely amazing. It's called Emerald Lake for a reason. The water was like a turquoise blue. It was different than all the other lakes that I had seen previously. Initially, Emerald Lake wasn't even on my radar until a friend recommended it to me. In the end, I'm so glad I stopped. My next stop, just a short drive down the road, was the Natural Bridge. There's not much to it, honestly, but it was kind of fun to just wander around and explore this area. Here it is. Here is the Natural Bridge. It's quite literally a natural bridge. It's pretty cool, though. Now, that would be the only exploring I got to do for the day, because I really had to book it. I was traveling all the way to Whistler, BC, which was about an 8-hour drive.
Residents of Kamloops, I'm terribly sorry, but I do not enjoy your city. Holy jeez, is it an ever terrible design around the Trans-Canada Highway. Anyway, I'm back on the highway now, so heading to Whistler.
I did end up making one more stop around Kamloops, but I only stopped for like 10 minutes because the view was just so epic.
Alright, just turned on to Highway 99. Well, that looks like a cool campground. Heading back into the forest. Out of the canyon and into the forest. 200 kilometers until Whistler. How exciting. tight one. Everything's just sloshing about in the back. Oh my God. Woo. Wow, man. This is so freaking epic. Oh my God. Let me just clean my windshield real quick. My wipers suck.
This was honestly one of the best driving roads, if not the best driving road in Canada. The twists and turns were so amazing, the views were epic, and I had no idea Canada had this type of dry, arid biome. This was really unexpected for me. Highway 99 also served as a sort of testing ground for the GTI, and it performed beautifully through these mountains. It's amazing how quick and nimble this car is. The handling was amazing, although everything was sloshing about in the back of the car. It didn't really affect performance at all, and it was just so fun to drive, and it made me really, really appreciate the handling and performance of the car.
Check it out. Whistler Village. Village gate closed. Okay. Whistler. This is fucking sick.
I'm not a snowboarder. I ski maybe twice a year. I don't do downhill mountain biking, but it was still fun to stop in Whistler and just appreciate the history of this place. I mean, of course, it was only like, 13 years ago that the Olympics took place in Whistler, but it was cool to kind of explore and to wonder what it would have been like in this town during the Olympics. I'm sure it was a madhouse, but it's so beautiful over here, and it was a nice town. There was a lot going on, even though it was kind of off season in the summer. There was still a ton of people, and it was just a fun time overall. After exploring for a little while and grabbing a quick bite to eat and a beer, it was time to hunker down for the night because I had a big day in Vancouver the following day.
Morning, folks. Well, I just camped another night. Another night. I camped my first night in BC, just outside of Whistler. It's a nice little park. Super cheap. It was like $15 a night. And today I'm heading into Squamish. And I gotta make a phone call here in a minute to a local Volkswagen dealership because I'm due for an oil change. I think I mentioned that in another clip, but anyway. So first I'm gonna find some breakfast. I'm gonna find a Walmart to resupply on food. And then I'm going to see if they can squeeze me in for an oil change in the next couple days, or even today if possible. Holy crap, man. These are massive trees. It's crazy. Like, it's hard to tell the scale on camera, but trees are huge.
So I had 3 days planned in Vancouver, but my plan for the first day was just to take it easy, get some rest, and explore the northern part of the city. and here is Lynn Canyon. There's also a lot of people that were recommending me Capilano Park, but it was like $60 to enter, and I couldn't really justify that. You know, when you're balling on a budget like I was doing, you got to make some sacrifices here and there. But a lot of people were saying that Lynn Canyon is comparable, so I stopped there instead. And for a camp spot in Vancouver, I lucked out. There's this urban campground right in the heart of the city. The location couldn't be better. It's just across the bridge from downtown, and it was just a short walk from this really nice park here where I went to explore and watch the sunset. So overall, very good first day in Vancouver. The next morning I got up, got ready, and began making my way downtown by foot. So I walked across this bridge over into Stanley Park, where I explored some trails for a little bit, eventually making my way over to the coast, and I began following the coast downtown. And at some point in the park, I noticed that there was a lot of planes flying overhead, landing in like near downtown. So I decided to sort of make my way over to that area because, again, I'm just a huge aviation fanatic. So I slowly made my way over to the harbor area where these planes were landing. And in the park, there was these totem poles. So of course BC is kind of known for having totem poles dotted around the whole province, and I think this attraction downtown was probably one of the more popular totem pole tourist sites in the entire province, or if not in the world. So it was really cool to check out. Vancouver is such a beautiful city. I mean, it's very clean, it's very modern, people are super friendly. It's consistently rated one of the best cities in the world to live in. Now, of course, every city has its issues, and Vancouver is no exception to that. And of course, I only scratched the surface of what Vancouver is while I was there. I only pretty much visited the nicer parts of town. But overall, my experience was really good. This was my favorite city that I visited thus far on this trip. I eventually made my way over to the seaplane pier, where I sat for like an hour or so just watching the planes take off and land and just enjoyed, the scenery. There was plenty of stuff going on. There was a few buskers and stuff playing in town. Vancouver seems to be a quite lively city. Of course, I was just here during the day, but it was a lot of fun. I eventually crossed downtown. So at this point, I already walked like 10 kilometers, but I crossed downtown and I took this little ferry bus over to the Granville Island. So the entire island is pretty much a public market. Tons of stuff going on here, whether you want food or souvenirs or whatever. There's something for everybody. I'm not a big shopper, as I think I've mentioned before, but I do like my beer. So as soon as I saw the Granville Island Brewing, I had to stop in and check out a couple of their beers. And when I eventually got hungry, I made my way over to the Tap and Barrel and had myself a nice plate, some sort of chicken mac and cheese, but it was delicious. I then ended the day by sitting on a log in Kitsilano Beach enjoying a sunset.
Hello.
Any reservations?
No reservations, no.
One person?
One person. On MasterCard.
The next morning, after spending 3 days in Vancouver, it was time to pack up the tent and head to Vancouver Island. It was kind of bittersweet at this point because I was leaving the mainland in Canada for good and heading to my final destination in Canada, which was Vancouver Island. At the same time, I was super excited to continue on to the second leg of my trip in the United States. In the end, I would be spending about a week on Vancouver Island, so there's still plenty of content to come. It's about a 3-hour ferry ride over to Vancouver Island to the town of Nanaimo.
If it is deemed necessary, a crew member will instruct you on how to put on a life jacket. In accordance with instructions.
Vancouver Island.
And that's going to be it for this video. I'm sorry you didn't get to see my pretty face, but I assure you next episode I'll have a ton more content. You'll actually get to see me, and it's going to be awesome. So here I am getting off of the ferry in the town of Nanaimo, and my goal for that night was to drive south to near Victoria, BC, which is the capital of the province. So thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next video where we explore Vancouver Island.